Been an agent for almost almost 18 years. And I'm now the recruiter for the FBI state of Michigan. So what I'm gonna do is I'll let Will Council start. He's part of our community outreach program with the FBI. And then we'll get into career opportunities, whether it's on a professional staff side of the FBI or as a special agent like myself. And please, if you have any questions, any concerns, any issues, let's talk about it. This is our opportunity, hopefully, to give you all hope, to do away with some myths, and hopefully to, as Brother Hester Wheeler pointed out, hopefully increase the number of minorities in the FBI.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So without further ado.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
As I said before, my name is Will Council, and I'm with the Detroit FBI office, and I've actually almost been there 9 years. It'll be 9 years on the 1st of September. Prior to that, I was actually born in Delaware, but grew up in the city of Detroit, East Side. Went to Cass Tech, and once I graduated, entered the military for 21 years. And then after that, I applied to the FBI. So I always consider myself a rookie. The average person in the FBI right now has probably been there at least 15 to 20 years. So I can tell you about the process of joining the FBI. Since I've been at the FBI, I have had 3 different jobs in my 9 years, trying to find my niche. And so there's a great opportunity for that with the FBI. You may start in an entry-level position, but eventually you will work your way into something that you're really interested in, which is the job I have now, which is community outreach. I really enjoy going out and sharing crime prevention information, and also just connecting with the communities. So the professional side of the house, typically I always like to start at the very beginning is, how much do you make? Everybody wants to know, how much do you make? So typically in the professional side of the house or support side of the house, the starting salaries are range around $35,000 to $40,000 entry level. It can go all the way up to roughly around $95,000. That depends on your education, your experience, and the job that you do with us. What kind of jobs do we have? We are like a little city within the FBI. We have every job you can imagine. Right to my left here and your right, you can see some of the positions that we have. We have photographers, clerks, maintenance, our own fleet of vehicles that you can actually, if you're interested in those type of things, you can work in that area. The unique thing about the FBI, and it's not just in Michigan, we have 56 field offices throughout the United States and then 60 overseas. So there's a person in Texas who's doing community outreach. There's probably someone in Paris who's doing community outreach as well. So there's an opportunity to do that. Yes, ma'am. Question?
I didn't have a question, but I'll wait, let y'all answer.
Okay, very good. There is also an opportunity when you join our professional side of the house to travel. Because we have so many different offices, there's opportunities to travel to various locations. I will tell you the process is extensive to get in. Special Agent Harris is going to talk more about that a little bit. But just to tell you my story, it literally took me 8 months to get my job. So I was still in the military when I applied. Got an interview within 30 days, which is typically in most jobs. Then it took 7 months before they actually offered me the job. What happens in that 7 months is they do an extensive background check. They go and they speak to every person you've ever known. Well, not everyone, but a large percentage of those folks they do. I always love to tell the story of when they went to the neighborhood where I lived. My family and I were living on the military base, and so one day while I was at work, they went and talked to all my neighbors. Came up with a whole bunch of leader cars, and they don't tell you why they're there. They wanted to find out if I was kicking the dog, mean to my children, drinking abusively, all kinds of things. Interestingly enough, one of my neighbors next door, right next door to me, he said when he saw the cops, he was going to run out the back door. So then I started thinking, what is he doing next door? But they literally do that. They literally will go and speak to everyone you know. And that's all part of the background portion. There's also a drug test, a lie detector test that you have to go through. And Special Agent Harris will talk to you about the requirements for a special agent. So that's kind of like a brief overview of.
I thank God that you allowed us, no, seriously, to come out. Because Will and I are so set on providing information, planting the seed, and bottom line, giving hope.
That's it.
And I was telling brother the other day, even when I worked gangs in Chicago, responsible for taking down members of the Gangster Disciples, came face to face with the leader of the GD, just as close as we are. That's how close I was to the leader of the GD, Gangster Disciples. One of the most ruthless gangs known to mankind. But here's the thing. I've been teased about being nice and all that good stuff. But I thank God that, as I was sharing with today, when I arrested one gang member, although we were transporting this young man to lockup at the U.S. Marshals, he still took time out to ask me, Brother Hester, "Hey, agent, can I speak?" And I'm like, "Sir, go ahead," because my partner got out to inform U.S. Marshals we were about to bring one in for lockup. I said, "Go ahead." He said, "Agent, first of all, I'm going to tell you, I never met a black FBI agent. Second," he said to me, "I want to thank you for the way you treated me." He said, "Because had I been arrested by the Chicago police, they would have banged my head on the hood." So my thing is, when people say you too nice and you too this or that, no, that's professionalism.
Correct. That's right.
Right? And it's also very, now, if you don't mind, let me read you a quick letter. Because hopefully this gonna bring,
I ain't gonna cry.
I don't know. Hopefully it's gonna bring additional hope. Like I said, let's just keep it real.
From the president?
Somebody was talking about, well, it is from Washington, D.C.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so listen to that, right? And then we'll talk about it. It's very quick, it's brief. It says, "Dear Mr. Harris," this is 1991. "Dear Mr. Harris, this is to advise you of the status of your application for employment as a special agent with the FBI. FBI appointments are offered on a very selective basis due to the large number of applicants and the limited number of positions available. I alluded to how in 2010 there were over 50,000 that applied for the 900 positions. Current policy allows each applicant 2 test opportunities to achieve a competitive score. You have failed to attain a competitive score on the 2 testing opportunities afforded you. In review of this, it is," I like slowing down on that, kind of dramatic, right? "It is not possible
Thank God.
to give you further consideration for the special agent position. I know that this decision will be disappointing to you, but trust you will understand the FBI's position in this matter is signed off by the Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI from Washington, D.C. I love reading this.
Where is he now?
Yes, sir. We get it.
Where is he now?
That's it.
My wife, my bride, going on 28 years, by the grace of God, she asked me, "What are you gonna do with that letter?"
Hold the thing.
So I'm keeping it. Here's the reason why. I sincerely believe in here,
That's right.
God was gonna make a way.
That's right. Go ahead.
No, seriously, right? And I remember, we were talking about Pastor here. I remember when I did my internship, Brother Hester, with the Kalamazoo Police Department. I was at Western Michigan University. There's one officer, if I say his name, I still love him, just in case you're like, "Hey, that's my relative." Officer Robert Mack Fletcher, I still remember the name. Spring of '83. He told me very poignantly, sir. He said, "Paul, you're too nice, you're too much of a Christian. You'll never make it in law enforcement." He didn't say the FBI. He just told me flat out, "You'll never make it in law enforcement. Too nice of a guy." And I do recall when I took the test. Now let's go back to the FBI, because as Brother Will said, in order to get into the FBI to become a special agent, you do have to take a series of tests. The first test pertains to, in other words, who is Hester Willard? They call it your biodata. And Hester is going to give answers based on who he is. You don't want to give answers based on, well, I believe the FBI wants me to answer in this manner. So I gave answers based on Paul Harris. He had a nice guy. And little do people know, I am the son of a minister. Right? A lot of people don't know that. So, gave my answers truthfully. This was the result. And the second time I took the test, I had just completed my master's degree at Eastern Michigan University, criminology. Mine was still fresh. In my opinion, I thought the test was very simplistic. Very simplistic. But I also remember sharing with my brother, hey, you know what? Hey, Mark, I think I gave responses that were reflective of a priest. So I failed. But I also remember, by the grace of God, seeing a sign that said, failure is not final with God. And this is how I talk. So I'm a recruiter for the FBI. When I approached the SAC, Mr. Abate, I said, sir, I'm near the end of my career. Why don't you allow me to become your recruiter? And one day he called me on my cell phone and said, Paul, you're my recruiter. Well, listen, people know I talk this way. I don't sugarcoat anything.
That's right.
People want to know, well, what happened? How did you did show us a credential? Yes. Because I felt and believed, talking about having hope, I tell people, these are 5 tools I keep in my toolbox from my experience. And I tell people, they don't have to be in this order. Prayer, preparation, patience, persistence, perseverance. A person can be persistent up to a certain point and then give up. Perseverance, in my opinion, is seeing it all the way through. And I'm also a believer that where God can open the door, no man can shut.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, one day, my wife said, why don't you go to this town hall meeting in Inkster? I didn't know what a town hall meeting was at that time. Go to the town hall meeting and sitting one row behind me to my right. It was a current recruiter of the FBI, Henry Glasgow III.
Yes, go ahead.
And he said, Paul, have you heard? The FBI has come up with a new test. You're able to retake it. I had one shot at it. That new test was much more arduous than the 2 combined, because they had all this crazy math. They don't have it anymore. And thank God he allowed me to pass it right out the gate. And in the interim, while I was still hoping, because people would say, Brother Hester, man, it's over with, let it go. And that's why my spiel to you, my words of encouragement, always check what's inside here. Regardless of what someone tells you. It could be a close relative, it could be your spouse. There's something inside of here, I say as long as it's legal now. There's something inside of here that's telling you to keep going, keep going. Because here's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to end up regretting the fact that I didn't stay on the path when something was telling you otherwise. And that's why I thank God. I tell people I'm still living the dream. It'll be 18 years come February 2015. Support. I'm sorry, the young man just left out, but we were going to talk about that physical fitness.
Well, I'm listening.
Okay. Cool. If you had seen me in terms of my physical fitness, in terms of my working out, because this is what I read with regard to the FBI's application. The FBI expected you to be in excellent physical condition. That same verbiage that I read back in, what, 84, is still on the website today. That hasn't changed. If the FBI is saying for you to become a special agent for one of the premier law enforcement agencies in the world, we expect you to be in excellent physical condition, that's what they mean. It is there. And that's why Will and I, that's why we're so elated, really. We cannot thank you all again for giving us this opportunity.